Please be aware that we are working in a training environment. The information that you will see is arbitrary and only being used for training purposes. It is not reflective of the state or their quality measures information in any way. When your state enters your quality measure information, you should follow the technical specifications for each measure. The implementation guides available in MACPro will provide guidance on the measure-specific questions about how to enter data in MACPro. Welcome! In this module, we will demonstrate how a state editor creates a quality measures report in MACPro, edits a core measure, and submits a report to the state point of contact. We are logged into MACPro as a state editor. When you first log into MACPro, you are taken to the Actions tab, as seen in the upper toolbar. The Actions tab is for initiating new actions. The state editor has several actions to choose from that include creating an adult quality measure report, a health homes quality measure report, a maternal and infant health quality measure report, and a Medicaid and CHIP child quality measure report. While this module shows an adult quality measure report, the steps we will demonstrate generally apply to all quality measure report authorities. As a note, only one state editor can edit a report at one time. So let's get started by selecting Create Adult Quality Measure Report. This takes you to the Adult Quality Measure Report admin screen. On this screen, there's a drop-down option at the top of the screen to select the federal fiscal year you will be reporting on. Following that, there's a list of core measures in the Not Started status. Next, there is the Delivery System section, which is required, and the External Contractor section, which is optional. Finally, there is an area to upload documents. To begin, determine which federal fiscal year you will be reporting on. Select a year from the drop-down menu. Now, select Core Measures. You may select multiple measures at once. In this example, we will select Adult Body Mass Index Assessment, or ABA, and Controlling High Blood Pressure, or CBP, and show two scenarios: reporting on a measure and not reporting on a measure. Next, select Begin Reporting at the bottom of the screen. First, we are taken to the ABA core measure. To begin reporting on a measure, select Yes to the first question, that you are reporting on this measure. Please note that MACPro is dynamic. This means, depending on the selections you make, additional options may appear. Next is the Status of Data Reported section. To expand this field, select the Expand button in the right corner of the section. You can also expand all sections at once by selecting View All Responses at the top right corner. Now that the first section, Status of Data Reported, is expanded, there's a question. What is the status of the data being reported? Let's answer Final. Please note that you should select the correct options for your state. The next section is Measurement Specification. We will select National Committee for Quality Assurance, NCQA, Healthcare Effectiveness Data and Information Set. Again, MACPro is dynamic. Depending on the selections made, additional options may appear. The additional field that appears directs us to specify the version of HADIS used. We are going to select a year from the drop-down menu. The next section is related to the data source. Let's check off Hybrid, Administrative and Medical Records Data. This prompts the system to ask more questions. We'll indicate that the administrative data are coming from MMIS, or the Medicaid Management Information System, and the medical records data are coming from both EHR and paper. The questions in the data source section have a combination of checkboxes and radio buttons. You can select more than one checkbox. However, when there are radio buttons, you can only select one option. Now that our selections have been made for data source, let's move on to the date range section. All measures reported need to have start and end dates for the measurement period. As the directions indicate, the measurement period entered should not include the look-back period, as applicable. Below that, the instructions indicate there is more information about the start and end date for each measure available in the measurement period table resource listed. We will enter a date range for the measurement period. Since the system does not automatically save entries, you may want to save your report routinely while filling it out. To do so, scroll to the end and select Save. Saving will minimize the sections on the screen. Scroll up and select View All Responses to expand the sections again. Next, continue by filling out the definition of population included in the measure. First, define the denominator. As you can see in the directions, you must select at least one option. We will select the checkbox for one of the options. We are going to indicate that yes, the denominator does represent the total measure eligible population as defined by the technical specifications for this measure. We will enter the sample size for this measure in the measure eligible population. Please note that commas or any other symbols besides the negative symbol are not accepted in this field. MACPro will automatically remove them from the field. For the delivery systems represented in the denominator, you must select at least one delivery system that applies to your state. For each delivery system selected, enter the percentage of the measure eligible population. Now, let's complete the performance measure section. This section includes several text boxes. Make note that there is a 4,000 character limit. This character count is tracked at the bottom of the text box. We will check off the 18 to 64 age range and enter a value for the numerator, denominator, and rate. The rate must be numeric, with at most 1 decimal point. If you enter a rate that doesn't follow this formatting, you will get an error outlining the text box in red. Also, if we had indicated earlier that we were using administrative data only for the data source section, the rate would auto-calculate for us. If you do not select an age range or one of the measure rates, the corresponding text box is required to explain why data was not entered. Since we are not checking the box for the 65 to 74 age range, we will include some text explaining why data was not entered for the numerator, denominator, and rate set. Now, we will continue to the Deviations from Measurement Specification section. There is only one question. Did your calculation of the measure deviate from the measure specification in any way? If you were to select yes, you will be prompted to enter additional information about the deviations. We are going to select no. Our calculations of the measure did not deviate from the measure specifications in any way. The next section is the combined rates from multiple reporting units. We will indicate that yes, we did combine rates from multiple reporting units. An additional question will appear, and we will select the rates were based on another weighting factor. Upon making our selection, a text box prompts us to enter a description for the other weighting factor. The next two sections are optional. The first section is your opportunity to provide CMS additional notes. Please use this space to provide further explanations of any aspects of your state's reporting for the measure. This information may include context about why a data field cannot be reported by the state, a change in the state's methodology, population, or program that would affect trendability of the measure, or definition of the reporting units, such as health plans or programs, included in the state-level rate. The next section is the optional measure stratification, and as the title suggests, it is also an optional field. Let's include optional measure stratification for geography. We'll select urban. Automatically, we are offered the option of reporting on two age ranges. We will enter the numerator, denominator, and rate for age range 18 to 64 and age range 65 to 74. Then, at the bottom right corner of the table, we will select the link to Additional Alternative Classification subcategory. We will enter an age range and a numerator, denominator, and rate for the age range. This next section provides an opportunity to upload supporting documents to the report. This option is available for every core measure that you include in your report, as well as the admin screen of your report. We will not upload any documents. The final question within this core set measure asks if we would like to validate the core measure data at this time. You have the option to save and proceed to the next core measure without validating, but it will not be marked as complete until you do so. The core measure can still be updated once it is validated, but if data is changed, you will need to revalidate in order for the measure to be complete. Measures that have information entered but are not complete are marked as in progress. All core set measures must be complete to submit the report to CMS. We will select Yes, validate the core measure data at this time. Now that we selected Yes, validate this core measure report, there is a note below indicating that if validation fails, errors will appear in red above. Then we will select Save at the bottom of the screen. Validation ensures that information is fully filled out within the report. If there is a field that is missing the required information, the system will indicate what information is required in red prior to allowing you to complete the core set measure. If at this time you are not ready to complete the report, you have the option not to validate the measure. Let's now move on to the next measure by selecting Go to Next Measure. Since there were no validation error messages when we validated the Adult BMI Assessment (ABA) measure, we were able to continue to the Controlling High Blood Pressure (CBP) measure. We are not reporting on this measure, so let's begin by selecting No. Next, there are a series of checkboxes presented for you to explain why you are not reporting on this measure. You must select at least one, but you may select all that apply. Let's select Service Not Covered and Data Not Available. We are prompted to explain why the data is not available. We are going to indicate that the information was not collected and the data was not collected by the provider. If you have any report documents to upload, you may do so below. You may also do this from the admin screen. Next, indicate that yes, we would like to validate the core measure data at this time, and select Save. Once the information is saved, return to the bottom of the screen and select Go to Admin Screen. Back on the admin screen, you'll notice that No is listed in the Reporting on Measure column for the CBP core measure. Now that we have provided information, validated, and saved the ABA and CBP core measures, the status of these two measures is now marked as complete. If we had entered information, but not quite filled out the entire core measure, the status would indicate in progress. In a typical situation, you must fill out all core measures in a report, save the information and validate it to be able to send the report to the next step in the workflow, which is to send the report to the state point of contact for review. Additionally, on the admin screen, states must complete the delivery systems and audit or validation of measures sections. As a note, the audit or validation of measures section appeared on the screen after we began our report. To demonstrate how the state editor submits their quality measure report to the state point of contact, we will move to a previously created report with all core set measures completed. You can follow these steps to access in-progress reports in case you can't create and submit a report in one sitting. To access in-progress reports, go to Records on the upper toolbar. This tab also allows you to access completed reports. We will select Adult Quality Measures to access our in-progress report. If you select the link to the report record, it will take you to a screen with a summary of the report, including a timeline indicating the stage in the process the report is in. It also includes report information, state point of contact information, and audit information. You'll notice at the top of the screen, you also have the option to view the summary, report data, news related to the report, and related actions. If there were multiple versions of the report, you could view older versions of the report here as well. Let's select the Modify button in the top right corner. As seen here, all of the core measures are listed as completed, indicating that the report is ready to be finalized for submission. Since the report is almost ready to submit to the state point of contact for review, we will enter information for the delivery system section and the audit or validation of measures section. The delivery system information indicates the percentage of enrollees there were in each delivery system. Each of the delivery system columns must add up to 100 or 0. You may enter 0 if that population is not included in the report. We will enter percentages in for the delivery systems. Now we are at the Audit or Validation of Measures section. We will select Yes. When the table appears, we will select the ABA core measure from the drop-down menu. In the Who Conducted the Audit or Validation text box, enter the name of the entity. Next, you will have the option to select whether your state obtained assistance from one or more external contractors in collecting, calculating, and/or reporting your core set data. We will indicate none of the above. We calculated all the measures internally. Finally, you may upload accompanying report documents. You can upload a maximum of 84 documents to a report, each with a maximum file size of 2 megabytes. PDFs, PowerPoints, Word documents, and Excel spreadsheets are all acceptable file types. You may upload documents from a core set measure screen as well as from this admin screen, which is centrally located at the bottom of the screen. All uploaded documents are uploaded to the report in general and are not specifically uploaded to individual core sets. Now we are ready to request the state point of contact review of the 2019 Adult Quality Measure set. Select Request State POC Review at the bottom of the screen. This takes you to the Records Summary dashboard for this report. There is a timeline at the top of the screen that indicates the status of the report. The state point of contact received a notification in their inbox and a task in MACPro indicating that their review was requested for this report. You will not be able to edit this report as the state editor again unless the state point of contact returns the report to you. This concludes the module. If you need system assistance, please email the MACPro help desk at macpro_helpdesk@cms.hhs.gov or call 301-547-4688. If you need assistance on what to enter in MACPro, please contact the policy expert team at macqualityta@cms.hhs.gov.